In the news this week, WA gun shop owner slams police over firearm portal breach, warning of break-in risks and eroding trust with shooting community. A WA News exclusive.
Public housing revolt. East Perth residents voiced opposition to convert a hotel tower into affordable homes. Promise to help seniors. The state government's cost of living measures targeting WA's elderly. And later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loon and Naliva Thorne.
Good evening. WA gun shop owner slams WA police over online controversial firearms portal breach. Zane Beaton, owner of Beaton Firearms in Maddington, spoke to WA News exclusively about the impact of the breach on gun owners, saying it could put owners at risk of break-ins or coercion for information on other firearm locations. He also said that the bottleneck on the online firearm register portal has sent a poor message to Western Australians in regards to police credibility and competency, and highlighted issues around trust between shooting groups and the police.
So my knowledge of the data breach itself is relatively cursory, but as I understand it, what it is that if you're on a corporate license, so if you're a member of a club and you're on the club's corporate license, that then you can see who else and their addresses of the other people on the corporate license. And what this is it is an avoidable, we can understand like why the police wouldn't have picked up on this sort of thing. But that doesn't make it an excusable fault. It's a very easy thing that could have been picked up through better consultation with the rangers, the clubs and the industry. And this is another representation of the failings of the WA police, who are the actual authors of this legislation. It's a failing of them to look beyond their own borders to think that there's other people that could have input on this legislation.
Is this a serious issue?
Potentially yes. In all likelihood, probably not. What it would mean though is that if you look beyond the raw thing of it, it's I'm a member of a club, you're a member of a club, we're on the corporate license. I can see your address. I can see that where you live, and because you're a member of the club, you almost certainly have firearms. Now, the suggestion has been made that, okay, maybe he doesn't keep his guns at home, but that doesn't make you any less of a target. I could be attempting to break into your house to try and steal your guns, even if they're not kept there. And that creates a dangerous situation for you. But the other thing is that it may not even be me that's the problem. The issue may be someone that I associate with, or someone that a friend of mine associates with, who then gets to the understanding that I can get the access to this information. And now maybe I offer it up at a cost. Maybe he coerces me to access that information for him. And then that third party is the one that engages in the nefarious activities. So the potential for it to become a very serious issue is very real. And like I've said before, completely avoidable if the police had spoken to the rangers and clubs and actually trialled this before implementing it.
There's a bit of a big bottleneck on the app as well, and all the rest, a lot of frustrations going on, and now you have this happening. What kind of message does it send to gun owners in Western Australia?
Well, what message does it send to West Australians in general? It says that, generally speaking, that the police are trying to, to give the police their credit, they're trying to work within a extremely new, untested system. That no one really knows how it's working. So they're trying the best they can, but at the same time, you've got to take the responsibility on this, and the police really need to be thinking about what is the general population thinking about the WA police at the moment. How credible is the WA police? How competent is the WA police in managing this sort of information? I think that's going to be a question that's going to be asked. You as the gun store owner, how do you see this issue being fixed? So, given that the data breach has already happened, you can only pull back on what. I don't think the important thing isn't necessarily this data breach. It's already happened, like you said. The important thing is the next data breach, and that's going to, we're going to have to mitigate that, and one of the ways to mitigate that is for the police to work with the industry members and to work with the range and the industry bodies to try and mitigate this from happening in the future by having people test these systems before they come out. Now, whether that's going to happen, I don't know. There seems to be, in 2025, there seems to be a lot more mistrust between the police and all of the other shooting groups. That didn't exist 15 years ago. There seems to be a lot of distrust, but coming from an industry member, looking at the police, there seems to be a very high level of arrogance on their behalf, and they think that we've got nothing to contribute and that our opinions don't matter and we aren't to be trusted. Going back to
so you sound very, very negative. You don't sound very optimistic that things can come together and can work together at this point.
Well, I'm not optimistic. No, that things will become better, only because in order to address the issues in regards to the data breaches and that sort of stuff, we first need to, in order to mitigate that, we need to start addressing the attitudes, the cultures, and the relationship between the shooters and police. We are law-abiding, regulated industry, population shooters, one of the highest regulated bodies in Australia. And the police have no reason to mistrust us and whatnot. Now, why do they? I don't know. I could speculate that perhaps it's an internal cultural thing now within the police service. I'm not exactly sure, but we would need to address that before we can address mitigating these things going forward.
Residents in East Perth gathered this weekend to protest against the state government's decision to convert a hotel tower into public housing. They say that doing so will bring more problems in the long term than solutions. Paige Reid has more.
Residents say they understand the decision to change the hotel is set in stone and there is no changing it now, but they are requesting that the state government communicate with them more so they are aware of the changes that are happening. During their rally, many expressed their concern at placing social housing in an area that could encourage antisocial and disruptive behaviour.
I think a lot of people have concerns across the whole breadth of those sorts of things, but I think generally is how will we become used to living change. That includes security, that includes use of common area and all those sorts of things.
Shelter WA says that this announcement is a step in the right direction to addressing the climbing homelessness and housing crisis the state is currently facing. CEO Kath Snell says that every announcement is welcomed, but there is still a long way to go.
We know that there's a lot of people really struggling. This is not news. People are doing it really tough. We all know people are sleeping in cars, they're sleeping under bridges, they're staying with family. We're seeing people 50 and above going back to live with elderly parents, etc. It's a really tough market out there.
Minister for Housing John Kerry held his second full day of meetings with the residents this weekend to help explain the project and the stages it is going to undertake, along with answering any questions they may have. He says there has been a lot of positive feedback and the meetings are allowing for an active and engaging conversation.
Can I say this is unprecedented? I don't think there is another minister, either Liberal or Labor, that has sat in 2 full-day sessions, do 24 sessions, meeting directly with local residents.
Whilst not against social housing, many residents here feel they have been blindsided by the government's decision, along with being concerned of the well-being of people moving into hotel rooms rather than apartment buildings. Minister Carey says that while still in the early stages, he is hoping to get people moving into the suites by the end of this year. Paige Reid, WAMN News.
The WA government has announced new cost of living relief for seniors, launching the 2025 to 2026 discount directory in this year's cost of living rebates for WA Seniors Card members. The $33.8 million rebate will benefit over 351,000 members, with payments starting next week. $110.07 for singles and $165.10 for couples. Since 2009, the scheme has delivered $459 million in support. The free discount directory offers exclusive deals from hundreds of WA businesses, with a focus this year on expanding regional partnerships. Nearly 100 regional businesses are included. New partners, Tucker Fresh IGA, will offer seniors cardholders 5% off at its 12 Perth stores, Monday to Friday. The senior card also provides other benefits, including a one-off $400 safety and security rebate. Minister for Seniors Simone McGurk called the directory a fantastic resource, helping reduce living costs and keep seniors connected to their community.
A new Veterans and Families Hub will be established in Rockingham, with the Albanese government confirming the permanent location for Western Australia's next dedicated facility to support current and former defence personnel and their families. The Goldsworthy Veteran and Family Centre will be located at 65 Dixon Road, with the existing building to be refurbished to house services including health, psychological care, community support and veteran advocacy. Expected to open in 2026, the centre will serve more than 8,000 veterans and families in the region, including personnel from the nearby HMAS Stirling Navy Base, home to over 4,100 members. Developed in partnership with RSL WA, the hub will offer a welcoming, community-focused space, supported by service points at RSL sub-branches in Rockingham, Port Kennedy, Mandurah and Kwinana. Minister for Veterans Affairs Matt Keogh said the centre, named after one of Australia's most decorated naval officers, will be a key support hub for the Navy community. Local MP Madeline King said the initiative is a practical investment in those who have served.
A man has been charged by WA police over a car chase that took place in Hillary's in the early hours of Friday morning. Hillary's police and regional operations group officers charged a man aged 26 years old over a police evasion incident which took place in northern suburbs of Perth just after 1 o'clock in the morning. Authorities will be alleging the driver failed to stop and accelerate away from police when they tried to stop him. It will also be alleged that he drove recklessly at speed through Kingsley, Papri and Ocean Reef. The driver was later arrested at Eddystone Avenue thanks to the assistance from the police air wing. The Hillary's man is facing 4 charges. He appeared in court this week.
More than 3,300 foster and family carer households across Western Australia will enjoy free entry to major attractions during Foster and Family Carers Week. Child Protection Minister Jessica Stojkovski announced the offer alongside a local foster family at the WA Museum Bullabardip in Perth. The offer includes complimentary access to Perth Zoo, WA Museum Bullabardip and the WA Maritime Museum. Running from Monday the 28th of July to Sunday the 3rd of August 2025, the initiative is part of the state's 3rd annual Carers Week and recognises the vital role of carers supporting vulnerable children. Eligible families can visit Perth Zoo all week, including the new gibbon habitat, an immersive primate enclosure. Entry to the WA Museum Bullabardip and Maritime Museum will be free on the weekend of the 2nd to 3rd of August. The initiative could save each household over $300 in entry fees.
And now here's Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. Australian pet ownership is increasing and there are about 6.2 million dogs, 5.7 million cats. 1 in 2 households in Australia has some sort of pet. And it does have some health implications, positive in terms of mental health. Very good for children to have something to look after and learn that responsibility, and also can be very emotionally reassuring for many people. Elderly people in particular really enjoy having a companion that's loyal and there for them and can keep them company, particularly if they're on their own. There are some viruses which dogs and cats can get, which causes cold and flu and sometimes we're asked if they can travel into humans, and usually that's not the case. It's usually different viruses are the ones that affect dogs and cats. And likewise, even though cats can catch COVID from humans, it doesn't usually harm them particularly, and they don't get particularly sick either from the influenza and coronavirus and other things that circulate amongst humans. So usually fairly safe with those ones. Things that don't meow or bark, other types of pets like turtles and birds certainly can carry different bacteria that can be damaging to humans. And so it's always just a general good hygiene idea to wash your hands after you've been patting animals and make sure you're not getting any bacterial contamination. And we don't recommend sleeping with pets either. Better not to share a bed. Lots of affection is fine, but co-sleeping is usually recommended against. So it's a very important part of our community. Having these pets, they provide us with great well-being, and just a few simple guidelines, including making sure that your animals are up to date with their vaccinations and see the veterinarian for parasite control regularly. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Doctor. On 6 News this week, the full analysis of the Tasmanian state election results following another snap poll in 18 months.
That's right. Leo, Roman and the team of young reporters will have the latest. Remember to tune into their coverage by searching 6 News Australia on YouTube.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Remember to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club, wamnews.com.au/news/extra. Supporting independent local news, keeping democracy strong. From Melly, Page, Peter and myself, wish you good health, good night. See you next week.
Thanks for watching.